The ocean is bottomless, beautiful, and home to a wide diversity of life, from the spunky dolphin to the majestic whale. But let's not pretend it's all serene and sparkly. Dive deeper, well, way deeper, and you'll hit a realm where evolution stopped playing nice. Down there, nature took some weird turns. No sunlight, no rules, just pure biological chaos. We're talking creatures with transparent skin, nightmare jaws, and glowing organs like they're built for a sci-fi horror film. These aren't just rare, they're the kind of discoveries that make scientists pause and say, wait, what is that? Here are 15 of the strangest deep-sea creatures no one expected to find. Number 15. Duobrachium sparks. They're as bizarre as their name, and no, it doesn't roll off the tongue. Duobrachium sparksae is a deep-sea comb jelly that looks like a drifting ghost balloon with tentacles. Discovered in 2015 near Puerto Rico, this little enigma lives 3,900 meters deep, where pressure is unforgiving and sunlight is a myth. With its long tendrils dangling like a marionette on invisible strings, it floats with creepy elegance. From one angle, it looks like a hot air balloon. From another, a box with limbs. But its most fascinating feature, those two stubby arms with ultra-long retractable tentacles, reaching nearly 2 feet. These aren't for grabbing prey, they're like deep-sea anchor lines, keeping it steady in the currents while it hovers in eerie silence. This thing doesn't swim, it suspends. And the fact that it's gelatinous, transparent, and unknown until a few years ago, yeah, the ocean's still holding back secrets that even science can't label properly yet. Number 14. Mariana snailfish. They're as delicate as tissue paper, but they live in the deadliest depths on Earth. Don't ask us how. Mama Nature can do anything. The Mariana snailfish calls the Mariana Trench home. Yes, that Mariana Trench, over 26,000 feet down where the pressure can crush a submarine like a soda can. And yet this tiny, translucent fish floats around like it owns the place. Barely a foot long, scaleless, and ghost pale, it's the deepest living fish scientists have ever found. Most life down there is just weird. But the snailfish, it's not just weird, it's a biological miracle. Its body is so soft that it would collapse under its own weight at the surface. But down in the crushing dark, it thrives, feeding on tiny crustaceans that somehow also decided this abyss was a good place to live. No predators, no sunlight, just eternal pressure and pitch black. And still this fragile creature floats on like it's no big deal. Nature once again flips the script. Number 13. Stargazer. Have you ever seen such a beauty? The stargazer fish isn't here to chase stars, it's here to ruin someone's day. Buried under sand with only its eyes and mouth exposed, it's the ultimate deep-sea ambush predator. Its name comes from its unsettling eye placement, smack on top of its head, staring straight up like it's watching the surface for its next prey. And that creepy stare is not the worst part. Stargazers are packing heat, venomous spines, and in some species, an actual electric shock they can unleash like an underwater taser. So yeah, it's not just ugly, it's dangerous. It lures prey in with a little fleshy worm-like appendage near its mouth, then snaps shut like a bear trap. Most fish flee. Stargazers wait, motionless, hidden, and then bam, lights out. They may not win beauty contests, but if the ocean had a list of creatures you do not want to mess with, stargazers would be somewhere near the top grinning from under the sand. Number 12. Giant siphonophore. The name sounds made up, like some deep-sea myth, but the giant siphonophore is terrifyingly real. And yes, giant isn't an exaggeration. This thing can stretch over 150 feet long. For comparison, that's longer than a blue whale. But here's where it gets weirder. It's not even a single animal, it's a colony, a freaky alien squad of specialized clones called zooids, all working together like a deep-sea Voltron. One part swims, one stings, one digests, one does who knows what, and together they drift through the ocean like a ghost train. It's as wide as a broomstick, but so long it coils like a galaxy in motion. Harmless to humans, thankfully, but deadly to small crustaceans. It lures them in with soft bioluminescence, then stuns them with venom. And here's the kicker, you can't bring it to the surface. It'll explode. Its body is so delicate, the change in pressure would tear it apart. Basically, it's too weird to live anywhere but the abyss. Number 11. Pink see-through Fantasia. As weird as its name and somehow even weirder looking, the pink see-through Fantasia isn't a fairy tale creature. It's a deep-sea sea cucumber that glows, floats, and shows you everything. Its skin is so transparent you can watch its food go from mouth to butt in real time. Discovery Channel. Eat your heart out. Officially called Enebniastes, this bizarre animal is also known as the headless chickenfish, which yes sounds like a fever dream. It lives around 2,500 meters deep, slowly drifting through the water with little webbed fins that look like nature's awkward prototype. It glows when threatened, because being see-through apparently wasn't wild enough, and it eats by slurping up ocean sediment with tiny tentacles, which somehow makes it even weirder. At 4 to 9 inches long, it's not a threat to anyone, but it is living proof that the ocean has no creative limits. Just when you think you've seen it all, this thing shows up. Number 10, anglerfish. This charming, good-looking fish is a floating horror show armed with a built-in fishing rod and a face only the abyss could love. Found a mile deep in Atlantic and Antarctic waters, the anglerfish doesn't hunt, it lures. That eerie, glowing bulb dangling over its mouth isn't just decoration, it's bait lit by bioluminescent bacteria that flicker just enough to tempt curious prey. And once something gets close, one snap from its bone-crunching jaws and it's done. The real punchline, only females have the lure. Males are tiny, fangless freeloaders that fuse themselves to the female's body like a permanent growth. Their sole job is to fertilize eggs and disappear into her skin. It's equal parts disgusting and impressive. With over 200 species, most of them stay around a foot long, but their oversized heads and nightmare teeth make them look much bigger in presence. The anglerfish is living proof that down in the deep, being terrifying is a survival skill. Number 9. Pacific football fish. No one's putting this thing in a Disney movie without major edits. The Pacific football fish looks like it was made from spare parts found in a haunted aquarium. Discovered in 1985, it's one of the deep's more recognizable freaks, thanks to its bloated body, spike-covered skin, and trademark bioluminescent lure hanging over its jaws. It doesn't chase food, it waits. Still, silent, floating at depths of 3,300 feet where almost nothing moves, and light doesn't reach. When prey drifts close, distracted by the glow, it lunges. No warning, no escape. Crustaceans, squid, whatever fits in the mouth gets swallowed. Like other anglerfish, the female is the main show. Males are barely a few inches long and exist purely to attach, fuse, and fertilize. Yes, it's as weird as it sounds. The Pacific football fish doesn't attack humans, but if looks could kill, it'd be at the top of every watch list. It's not aggressive, it's just terrifying by design. Number 8. Common fangtooth. The common fangtooth isn't winning any underwater popularity contests, but that's not its goal. This fish looks like it skipped millions of years of evolution and went straight to goblin. Its head is oversized, its scales look like armor, and its teeth, comically massive. They're so long, it can't even close its mouth fully. Imagine needing special grooves in your skull just to live with your own teeth. Only about 7 inches long, it's still somehow one of the most menacing things in the deep. It roams tropical and temperate waters, even pushing into subarctic zones, and has been spotted as deep as 16,000 feet. Whether it ambushes or hunts isn't totally clear, but one thing's for sure, it swallows prey whole. No chewing, no theatrics, just brutal efficiency. Its massive jaws snap shut, and that's that. Some juveniles live higher in the water column and look completely different, proving that even in the deep sea, awkward teenage phases are a thing. Number 7. Cookie cutter shark. Forget size. The cookie cutter shark wins on pure audacity. It doesn't chase prey. It sneaks up, carves out a perfect circle of flesh, and vanishes. Think surgical strike. but grosser. Just under 20 inches long, it's built like a torpedo, with a body that glows from below and darkens on top. This camouflage makes it look like a smaller fish to anything swimming beneath, until it lunges upward and clamps on. Its jaws twist like a drill bit, leaving a wound so clean it looks artificial. The nickname comes from those creepy bite marks. Victims include whales, dolphins, tuna, and once a US Navy submarine. That's not folklore, that's recorded damage. And while it feeds like a monster, it's technically a parasite, not a predator. It rarely kills, just leaves behind a mess. Once called the cigar shark, it's since been rebranded with a name that sounds cute until you learn what it does. The ocean doesn't play fair, and neither does this little freak. Number 6, giant tube worms. These things shouldn't exist, and yet they do. Thriving around scalding hydrothermal vents more than a mile beneath the Pacific. Giant tube worms look like ghostly white stalks swaying in toxic black water, growing up to 8 feet tall in total darkness. No mouth, no stomach, no digestive system. Just a hollow body full of bacteria that convert volcanic chemicals into food. That's right, these worms eat poison for breakfast. Found in 1977 near the Galapagos Rift, they rewrote everything scientists thought they knew about life on Earth. Before that, it was assumed all ecosystems depended on sunlight. These things laughed in the face of that theory. With thick tubes made of chitin, they anchor near vents spewing superheated water full of sulfur and metals. Somehow they not only survive, they flourish. If aliens exist on Europa or Enceladus, this is probably what they'll look like. Rootless, eyeless, and fueled by chemical hellfire, nature's most unexpected middle finger to logic. Number 5, oarfish. It's not a myth, it's not Photoshop. It's the oarfish, a real-life sea serpent stretching up to 56 feet long, swaying like a silver ribbon deep in the ocean's twilight zone. Found at depths ranging from 650 to over 3,000 feet, these bony giants are the longest fish alive and have likely fueled countless sailor tales about sea monsters. Their bodies are scaleless, soft and sheathed in guanine, giving them that metallic, ghost-like shine. But once they reach the surface, their skin becomes fragile. Their bodies fall apart and they die quickly. That's why we rarely see them alive. These fish are poor swimmers, undulating slowly through the water column like something pulled from a dream or a horror novel. Despite their terrifying look, they're harmless filter feeders, dining mostly on krill and tiny organisms. Most of what we know comes from beached carcasses. The rest, still a mystery. The oarfish is a deep-sea whisper, a flickering glimpse of something ancient watching from the blue. Number 4, Chaliadus, Sloane. With teeth longer than its skull and a face straight out of a panic attack, the viperfish looks like it was designed by someone having a breakdown. This carnivore spends its days at 5,000 feet below sea level, lurking in crushing blackness. At night, it creeps upward to around 2,000 feet, where food is easier to find, and that's when things get deadly. The teeth don't just look scary, they are weapons, serrated, needle-thin, and permanently visible because its jaw can't actually close. Stabs prey with one violent lunge and swallows it whole. No chewing, no second chances. Little is known about their reproductive habits, but scientists think they're external spawners tossing eggs into the void and hoping something works. Most viperfish are caught accidentally by deep-sea fishing gear, showing up looking like deep-sea nightmares that got too close to the surface. And trust us, one look at those teeth and you'll wish they'd stayed in the dark. Number 3, squat lobsters. They sound like something you'd order at a seafood shack, but squat lobsters are deep-sea misfits, part hermit crab, part alien, and fully unbothered by labels. Found up to 8,500 feet deep, these creatures don't carry shells, can't see, and survive by wedging themselves into rock crevices and coral, leaving only their claws sticking out like warning signs. They're soft, tiny, and wildly adaptive. Some species have arms several times longer than their bodies, which makes them look like something out of a stop-motion horror film. Others, like Munidopsis and Amanica, survive on wood. Literally. Sunken trees and rotting shipwrecks are a 5-star buffet. Other types chew through whale bones and sea turtle shells like it's Tuesday. Not built for beauty or brawls, they've instead mastered the deep-sea hustle, hide, scavenge, and outlive predators by being unappetizing and weird. Squat lobsters prove that in the ocean, survival isn't about strength. It's about finding a niche and clinging to it with all 8 limbs. Number 2, dinner plate jellyfish. It looks like something your grandma might serve soup in, until it flips upside down and starts hunting. The dinner plate jellyfish, found between 300 and 3,300 feet below the surface, isn't your average passive floater. This jelly goes on the offensive. It actually hunts for other jellyfish and zooplankton, pulsing through the water like a slow-motion UFO. It belongs to a family known as cnidarians, which usually rely on passively capturing food. Not this one. This thing swims with intent, trailing delicate, venom-laced tentacles that spell doom for anything caught in its orbit. Its body glows with bioluminescence, casting a ghostly shimmer in the black water. It was first captured on camera by NOAA's Okeanos Explorer during a deep dive into the musician's seamounts northwest of Hawaii, an area barely touched by science until recently. What they found wasn't just strange. It was a jellyfish that decided to break the rules. Passive predator? Not anymore. This one's got moves. The lesson: never think you're not good. You can be good. Number 1, northern wolfish. The northern wolfish doesn't bark, but it bites hard enough to make you think twice. This cold water monster lives deep in the North Atlantic, down to 5,500 feet where temperatures could kill you in minutes. It's got antifreeze proteins in its blood, yes, really, to survive the icy abyss. At first glance, it looks like a fish with an identity crisis. Part eel, part bulldog, part nightmare. 5 feet long, up to 40 pounds, packed with powerful jaws and nightmare teeth. Perfect for crunching through sea urchins, crabs, and shellfish like it's snacking on peanuts. It's a loner, lurking around rocky seafloors and seaweed jungles, waiting to ambush prey with zero hesitation. And if you ever hook one while fishing, don't let that ugly mug fool you. These things can bite through bone. Scientists love them. Fishermen, not so much. Either way, this creature is proof that the deep ocean doesn't do subtle, it does teeth. If you've enjoyed this video, well, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.